This week marks 50 years since the cult leader Charles Manson ordered his followers to commit the most vicious murders of the 20th century.
She looks lovely.
On the night of August 8th, actress Sharon Tate, her unborn child, and several of her friends were brutally killed by members of the Manson family.
One officer summed up the murders when he said, "In all my years, I have never seen anything like this before."
The murders became infamous, as did the man who ordered them.
But don't you have any feelings about it? Feelings? All my feelings are good.
Now, acclaimed director Quentin Tarantino has immortalised the events in his latest film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Here I am, flat on my ass, and who I got living next door to me?
I'm Sharon Tate. I'm in the movie.
But not everyone is happy with the way Sharon Tate and her friends have been portrayed on screen, including Sharon's old friend, Ava Roosevelt.
And this is obviously a difficult day for Ava, who joins us from Connecticut. Ava, thank you for joining us. We gather you're not a fan of the movie. Why are you so against Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
First of all, let me tell you that this is extremely personal for me, because Roman Polanski, whom I met in Poland, I'm Polish, Sharon, Jay Sebring, Gibby, Folger, and Wojtek Frykowski were my closest friends. They were like family to me. Sharon was like a sister. I was 21 years old, on my own, lived in LA by myself. They were my support system. So their death, essentially for me and for those in Hollywood, marked the end of innocence. Mr. Tarantino, despite his $100 million budget, completely missed an opportunity to portray these events correctly. He is, why am I against him and this movie particularly? Because he is an anti-woman director, from what I can tell, and every single female in this motion picture, which, if it didn't have the backdrop of tragic death of my friends, would be otherwise a plotless film. Every woman, every female character in this motion picture is portrayed either as a vicious killer, a slut, a bubblehead ditz, or even he manages to ridiculize a beautiful Margot Robbie and the Italian actress who is playing the role by portraying them as snoring while, you know, they're sleeping.
Well, Ava,
So,
can you paint us a picture as to
I
what
take
your
my-
memory of Sharon was like? How would you describe her? Because you were very close with her and Roman. How would you describe your friendship with her?
Sharon was fiercely strong. She was an incredible, beautiful human being, an actress, and a friend. Had she lived, she would have probably been receiving an Academy Award for her role in The Valley of the Dolls.
Yes, wonderful
And
film.
Mr. Tarantino managed to portray her as essentially a ditzy blonde, a sex symbol, nothing more than that. In addition to which, there are two other characters in that movie that really disturbs me tremendously. It's Jay Sebring, who was a very good friend of mine. I dated Jay for a while. And he is portrayed as braggadocious, hairdresser of the moment, when in fact he was loving, caring, and an extremely good friend to all of us. In addition to which, Charles Manson, a brutal killer, madman, who took lives of people that I love, is portrayed in Mr. Tarantino's movie as charismatic, even more than that, charming.
Ava, sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
In a quirk of fate, you were actually supposed to be at Sharon's house on the night of the murders. Is that correct?
Yes.
Wow.
It's very correct. I actually remember calling Sharon that evening, and I was wearing the blue dress that she has given me for an interview that I had the day before. And she invited me to go to dinner with them to a Mexican restaurant that she loved. And I told her I couldn't because I had a previous engagement with a German director. But we decided that I would stop by afterwards at the house at Cielo Drive. And after I finished my dinner, I decided to drive up to the house of John Phillips's. I had a minor crush on him those days, and so I drove by and noticed that the house was dark. And so I continue on driving, and I glanced at my clock. It was around 11:30 at night, so I said to myself, I probably have an hour to spend with my friends before I have to get ready for my shoot next morning. And just at this very moment, I noticed that the gas gauge of my second-hand Rolls-Royce, which was very capricious at best, showed empty. So I said to myself, perhaps I should turn around, because if I, in the middle of nowhere here, run out of gas, it probably wouldn't be a good thing. So that's what I did. I turned around at around 11:45, and on the way down on Sunset Boulevard, I pulled to a gas station, and the attendant told me that my tank was full, and he only sold me $2.50 of fuel.
Ava, can I ask
So
you,
I went back to...
Sorry to cut you off there. I was just going to ask you, if those horrific events hadn't transpired on that night, what sort of a mother do you think Sharon would have been?
I'm sorry? I can't hear you very well.
What sort of, I was just asking you, if those awful, horrific events that we know unfolded now on that night, what sort of a mother do you think Sharon would have been like? Because I know, I've read many interviews, she was looking so forward to becoming a mother. Her and Roman were so in love. What kind of a mother do you think she would have been?
She took her image and everything she did very seriously, and her impending motherhood even more. I think she was elated, ecstatic. I mean, she was so pregnant and so proud of it. I think that this is the saddest part of this whole event, is that a life of an unborn child was taken as well.
Absolutely.
And I must say that I don't know how Roman survived it. I really don't.
No. Ava, thank you so much for reminiscing, if that's the word, with us today. It's obviously a bittersweet occasion for everyone, more bitter than sweet, obviously, for her friends and family, and it seems that everyone recalls her in different ways, and certainly the film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood
Thank you
is polarising
so much
opinions.
for sharing your thoughts on her. Really appreciate it.